Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday was April 6th, the 96th day of the year, and I want to go over some very curious headlines I saw pertaining to yesterday from CERN to Iraq to Afghanistan to curious deaths. So, as I explain often on this blog, what we are presented on television from news to sports to sitcoms to everything else is an interconnected web of numerology and gematria, at least in terms of the words that are shown to us and the information we're receiving. And one of the big news stories right now is about this Al Shabaab shooting at the university, and the final body count was the number 147. They say 147 died, and if you haven't seen my video post on that already, I did it before they came out with this final number, and I showed how everything about the event was a coded 47 and 74. So to have a final body count of 147 is laughable. Anyhow, yesterday CERN was trying to find the dark universe. A lot of people had headlines like this. Has that curious gematria, and with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 57 and 66 with the S exception. Remember, the Church of Satan was established in 66. I've already done a lot of posts on the Germanwings crash and showing how all the numerology on that connects to Satanism. Well, it turns out the numerology with CERN does too. From just days before, CERN was saying they were searching for dark matter on Easter Sunday. Dark matter has a gematria of 111 Simple English, 666 English gematria. Just like the word obliterated, the word that every news network used at first to describe the Germanwings crash. That was the word of the day, the first day it happened, obliterated. So much of this coding, Truth Seeker, and again, the way it syncs up with sports. Look at Blue Devils, who just won the national championship yesterday, 9-6. If you've never seen one of my videos before, I understand why you might think this is all a coincidence, but when you research this stuff and present it as I do, you see that it's not a coincidence. That's why I make these videos. From the very beginning, I've been explaining how all this stuff connects, and with each video proof, or with each video blog post I've done, I've shown more and more evidence that my theory is not incorrect. It's in fact how the powers that be are operating. So CERN trying to find dark universe. I think they come up with these headlines just based on the numbers. The CERN thing might be an entire hoax, just deceiving people. You see right now in the truther community, people are putting out videos about how CERN is opening up the gates to hell. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is happening. But in a way, that just seems like more nonsense, more reasons to check out. So many people who are after that information are looking for a reason to escape accountability so that they can sit here and wait for Jesus and do nothing about it. You know? That's how we've gotten to be at this point where it's so bad, where we're just hit with these lies so often. Anyhow, moving on, speaking of lies, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have been based on lies since day one. What are they doing to us now, 14 years later? Giving us a new set of lies, a new set of bullshit to justify their policies. Earlier this year, Obama said we were bringing the troops home from Afghanistan. Then on the day of the Germanwings plane crash, it was the second story to the plane crash, was that Obama announced the troops are staying in Afghanistan. Now here on April 6, the 96th day of the year, Freemason Day, Satanism Day, look at the headlines. ISIS is now in Afghanistan. Of course. Of course. ISIS is now in Afghanistan. ISIS is going to be everywhere we need to be. Or if it's in Africa, it's going to be Al Shabaab or Boko Haram with all the same coded gematria. And you know who gave us these stories yesterday? Peter Bergen. Bergen, the same person who did the interview with Osama bin Laden months before 9/11. The same person who's been doing all the stories on Osama bin Laden over all the years. All the Osama bin Laden tapes. Always Bergen. Bergen is a 33 name. Bergen, Pythagorean gematria. These are the agents of deception. And they do it all by the numbers. That's something I didn't understand for more than a decade of looking at this nonsense. I always knew it was lies and nonsense, but I didn't know about the numerology and gematria. And the reason I teach that is because it's such a giveaway to their madness. Just watch. Watch by the end of this. You'll see how many more examples we're going through. Oh, goodness. And then what did they do to us in Iraq yesterday? Remember, this is the town of Tikrit where Saddam Hussein's from. Operation Red Dawn took place here when Saddam Hussein was captured, supposedly. Horrific discovery, mass graves may hold 1,700, and this is being blamed on ISIS, who was recently supposedly kicked out of the town by the Iraqi military. Right away, the word kill with Pythagorean gematria is 17. With simple English, it's 44. Tikrit is one of these towns with 33 gematria, Pythagorean. This is Saddam Hussein's hometown. It's home of Operation Red Dawn. Red Dawn has a Pythagorean gematria of 33. I think this is a town just like Newtown, Connecticut, or Haley, Idaho, or so many of these other coded towns with a 33 gematria where so many incidents come out of. Columbine, Colorado seems to be another one of these towns. I suspect that a lot of the agents of this gang of 33 live in these towns and in close proximity. Therefore, they have greater control of all the information coming out of there, and they can run these psyops with more success, with less possibility of interference. Because that's what so many people don't get. They don't understand how these lies could be waged without somebody in the media calling them out. Well, you have to wake up to the fact that the whole media is controlled by these liars, by a real gang, by the real mafia. Remember, these people make the movies and make you think that the mafia is Italians. No, they're the mafia, Zionist Jews. They're the real mafia. That's why in The Sopranos, who does Tony Soprano go to? He goes to a Jew. The Jew runs all the mob bosses in The Sopranos, the biggest mafia show in the history of the world. That's true in a lot of the other mobster movies as well. Here's another headline from yesterday. 8 members of Maryland family found dead at home. Right away I go, wow, 8 in Maryland, huh? Because I already know that Maryland has a gematria of 88. The only other state that does is California. California and Maryland are our 88 states. Poison, program, Uncle Sam, all 88 words. Yesterday, April 6th, in the NCAA tournament, it was the first men's championship game to go into the half with a tie game since the year 1988. Remember this number 88. We're going to talk about it also in the death of a member of the Dukes of Hazzard who died yesterday in North Carolina. These numbers, they sync up like a web. Jeb Bush was in the headlines yesterday. I'm not sure if this is all part of the hoax or, if we're in line for our third Bush president. What's interesting about the name Jeb is it sums to 17. Right now, April 7th today, Rand Paul is announcing his presidency. We can touch on that for a second. The reason the Rand Paul presidential announcement today is curious is because it's 4-7, April 7th. The word president equals 47. The word Whig equals 47. The word Republican equals 47. Rand Paul is a Republican now. The Whigs once became the Republican Party. Rand Paul is a 33 name. He's in Kentucky, which has a gematria of 47 with K exceptions Pythagorean. And with simple English, it sums to 110, just like the word president. So, Rand Paul, Jeb Bush, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's neither of them. Maybe this is just staging candidates by the numbers. Like on our NCAA tournament, the teams with the 44 connections, they went far, and in the end, one of them won. It was Coach K. We'll get into it more. All right, so we did Jeb Bush, we did Rand Paul. Yesterday in the headlines, it was announced Dikembe Mutombo and 11 more will join the Hall of Fame this year. Just want to point out that Hall is one of those 33 words. That's why they call it the Hall of Fame. We're so used to calling things without thinking about it. I mean, why call it the Hall of Fame? It's because it's the 33 of fame. These athletes, since the beginning of time, have been coded with these 33 numbers for as long as the pro sports leagues have been around. And Dikembe's got some interesting numbers on him. They had him wear the number 55, like Satan. In the NBA, it was the year 55 that the MVP award became a new thing. Last year, before Kevin Durant won it, he was in a commercial where everybody in it was wearing 55 jerseys and there was a 555 in the background. They're just coding what they're doing in front of us and laughing at us because they know that we have no idea to look for this stuff. We've never been taught on it. Well, unless you come to this video blog. But just remember, I was never taught on it. This just came to me from doing all this research and finally putting enough 2 and 2s together. So yesterday, Duke won. Their home floor is called Cameron Indoor Stadium. They won it on the 96th day of the year. They're now tied for third place with 5 championships wins, all with Coach K. Look at what Cameron Indoor Stadium equals. Pythagorean gematria, 96. And they won it for their team and their fans partying there on the 96th day. Lots of coded gematria, Truth Seeker. Here was a good one. Maybe you saw this. Maybe you were watching television last night when this happened. I just thought this was so funny, and then right away I had to go look up the picture, and I was not disappointed at all. But anyway, ESPN was doing an interview with Coach K, and they kept giving things on the headlines below that a no-hitter was in progress, a no-hitter was in progress. They never went to the game. Then all of a sudden they said, we're breaking to go to the no-hitter. And they transitioned to it, and I mean within 2 seconds of transitioning, the pitcher with the no-hitter was pitching, and the ball that he was throwing was hit. Base hit, ruining the no-hitter. And then they said, oh, well, we just ruined that. And then they came back to the panel with the basketball, and they said, chalk that one up to the basketball gods. No. Bzzz. You wonder why so many athletes go before their audience and say they give all the credit to God. I think so many of them are really talking about whoever refers to themselves as God on this planet, these athletes get to know about. There is somebody on this planet that thinks they're God. And they are orchestrating this crap. This stuff is all written, predetermined, and they're following a script. If you don't think this can be done, you're not thinking. As someone who used to play baseball, I mean, pitcher has all the control in the world. If they're told to throw at a certain time, they can delay until that exact second they need to throw. And it looked like this was so well synced up, it was just undeniable. I mean, a no-hitter late into the 8th, and the very second they changed the channel to show it, it's broken up. Let's look at the pitcher. His name is Sonny Gray, and right away I had to laugh because it's Sonny like Sonny Liston. A 33 name. Every heavyweight boxer in the history of history... I didn't say that right, but you know what I meant. Had a 33 name, from Evander Holyfield to Muhammad Ali to a whole lot more. With regards to Muhammad Ali, that name equals 96, and a boxing ring is 96 feet around, like Freemason. Anyhow, Sonny, 33 name, and Sonny is on the Athletics. The word athletic is a 33 number. And from most people who follow baseball, they know that the Athletics are a team that scouts all the great talent that the big teams pay big money for and steal from them. And that's why the Athletics usually fall short of where they should go. All their star pitchers play for other teams, including ones just across the bay in San Francisco. But yeah, 33 players following the 33 script. This is how it works. That also means the team he was facing was likely told not to hit the ball, and they didn't. Another headline from yesterday, Starbucks is hooking up with ASU for online degrees. Have you guys seen what Arizona State University has done? They've killed Phoenix University by stealing their model with online degrees. ASU has now become the biggest online university provider. That embarrasses me because I'm a Sun Devil alumni. I think, how sad. I was there when Michael Crow became the CEO of the school. I got to go there for a scholarship dinner one evening, and I got to hear him lecture about how ASU needed to go in a new direction because they just lost out on a big bid from Boeing because their academic performance was too low. And I thought, how sad is this? He is lecturing that academic performance needs to improve. Why? Because they just lost out on a lot of money from Boeing. Boeing in Jewish gematria equals 113. ASU in gematria also becomes 113. So possibly a reason Boeing was considering ASU in the first place. But anyway, Michael Crow has grown that school a lot. And what I remember about his eyes, I've never seen eyes like anybody else's. Or I've never seen anybody else's eyes in my life like Michael Crow's, the CEO of ASU. They are just big, black, hollow things. Sometimes people on TV look that way, but I haven't seen them in person. But Michael Crow, he just had these big, black, empty eyes, man. Sometimes I wonder if another race of people really do live right amongst us, and we have no idea what we're witnessing. But Starbucks, with the K exception, they're a 33 word. S exception's 42. Put it both together, 51, like the word conspiracy. Howard Schultz is their CEO. Howard's a 33 name. He's the one who made Starbucks a huge company. They weren't huge before him. Really, this is just part of the gang of 33. As a kid, I used to ask a common sense question that everyone just told me, oh, it's just the way it is. No, it's because people aren't thinking. Starbucks has coffee shops everywhere. It's not a financially possible system. It's not to pay their employees as much as they do, to advertise as much as they do, to have this many stores. It's just not financially possible. It's because these people are a gang and they're forced their stuff through. And in the time Starbucks has become what it has, it's put a lot more of the country on coffee. My parents both used to never drink coffee. Now they're both coffee drinkers. Almost everyone I know is a coffee drinker now. This is culture setting. The gang of 33 sets culture by force. They'll put their drugs on every corner. Coffee is a drug. It gives people energy when they shouldn't have any. Why don't they have energy? Because they're grinding so hard for who? For the gang of 33. That's why caffeine's legal, because they need you pumped up, working, slaving, and running on nothing. Look at their stock market abbreviation, 66. So, Duke won the national championship yesterday, and Dukes of Hazzard actor James Best died in North Carolina, where Duke's out of, where I refer to as basketball weirdness town. A lot of deaths connected to basketball happened in North Carolina, and here is another one. James Best. James Best with Pythagorean gematria is 22, 40 with the S exceptions. He has a life number of 33, being born July 26, 1926. Another way of getting the gematria for a date is just adding the day and the month. 7 plus 26, he has another 33 that way. And that life number of 72626 is curious just because of the numbers in it. 26 is the God number. That way it equals 59. And he dies on the 96th day of the year, the day Duke wins in North Carolina, in Hickory, North Carolina. Hickory has a gematria of 44, like the word kill. 44, the kill number, on the 96th day. You see what I mean, True Seeker? How it all syncs up, how it's all linked. His character name on the show was Roscoe P. Coltrane, which has a gematria of 66. So connected to these numbers. Again, the Church of Satan was established in 66. R.I.P. James Best. Looks like you were killed in Duke's connected celebration. Unless he truly faked his death at the age of 88. Remember, I said, remember that number 88. Yesterday's game was the first time it was tied at halftime since 88. It was Coach K's 88th tournament win of his career. And Dukes of Hazzard star dies at age 88. I mean, stuff's just sick. Also, yesterday there was one game in the NBA. I said I expected the Blazers to win 3 and lose 3 of their final 6 games, so they'll finish at 53-29. The reason I expect that is because Trailblazers equals 53, and they've gotten a lot of numerology gematria attributes this year. And chalk yesterday up is one more. Again, this was the only game in the NBA. The Trailblazers lost 96 on the road in Brooklyn, New York, to 106. They lost by 10. It was the 96th day of the year. So they got the numerology tribute even though they lost. And who is in control of this team? Jay-Z. Jay-Z equals 62 equals Mason. He's been signing athletes like Robinson Cano. Cano's a 33 word. He's now out here playing on the Mariners. They won yesterday on opening day. And with regards to opening day of baseball, the Mets defeated the Nationals. I have my eyes on the Nationals and the Orioles right now because they both finished the season with 96 wins last year. baseball's opening day was the 96th day of the year. Yesterday, the Mets defeated the Nationals. And I also find that interesting because this year's coming World Series will be the 111th. New York equals 111. Blue Devils equals 111. So it's a number that's of much importance right now. We will see if a New York team ends up in the World Series. And if I had to pick between the Mets and the Yankees this year, I would suspect that it would be the Mets. And for whatever, I have this weird gut feeling about the Mariners too, who just had this weird death of a young player all coded with numerology. Makes me think if I had to make an early pick for World Series, I'd go with Mariners and Mets, M&M. And then we would have another 44. All right, Truth Seeker, that's pretty much it. Until next time.